She did not suspect anything. Not really. There were small things. A shift in energy. A feeling she could not name. The kind of quiet distance that creeps into a relationship so slowly, you almost convince yourself it is not there. But something in her would not let it go. So one night, sitting alone while he slept, she did something she had never done before. She copied every message he had sent her in the last 6 months and pasted them into ChatGPT. Then she typed 4 words. Analyze these for patterns. What came back in the next 4 minutes ended a 3-year relationship before morning came. This is not just her story. This is a story that is playing out in relationships all over the world right now. Because people are beginning to discover that AI does not just write emails and answer questions. It sees things in language that the human heart is too close to see clearly. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what ChatGPT found in those messages, what it reveals about emotional availability, and what the patterns in someone's language can tell you that their words never will. She had met him 3 years earlier. The kind of meeting that feels like it was written somewhere before it happened. He was warm, present. The messages in the early months were long, thoughtful, full of questions about her day, her dreams, her fears. He remembered things she said weeks earlier and brought them back up. He used her name like it was something precious, like saying it was its own kind of affection. But somewhere in the 2nd year, something shifted. She could feel it, but could not prove it. The messages got shorter. The questions disappeared. When she tried to talk about it, he said she was overthinking, that he was just tired, that work was stressful. And she believed him. Because she wanted to. Because the alternative was something she was not ready to face. So she waited. And the feeling grew quieter, but never fully left. On that night, she opened ChatGPT on her phone. She copied their entire message history from the past 6 months and pasted it in. Then she typed this exact prompt. I want you to analyze these messages for emotional patterns. Look for changes in warmth, engagement, the use of questions, future tense language, and affection over time. Tell me honestly what you notice. ChatGPT took less than a minute. What it returned changed everything. The analysis came back in clear, plain language. ChatGPT noted that in the earlier messages, there was high emotional engagement, frequent use of future tense language, personal questions that showed genuine curiosity about her life, warm and affectionate language appearing naturally and consistently throughout the conversations. But as the months progressed, ChatGPT identified a significant and consistent decline in all of those markers. Questions had reduced dramatically. Future references had almost completely disappeared. The language had shifted from warm and personal to what ChatGPT described as transactional. Information being exchanged, logistics being coordinated, but very little emotional investment or curiosity about her inner world. And then there was the pattern that made her put the phone down and sit in complete silence. ChatGPT had noticed something she had never consciously registered. Every time she had expressed vulnerability or emotional need in the conversation, his responses had consistently minimized, redirected, or changed the subject. Not once or twice, consistently, across months of conversations. A pattern so woven into their communication that she had normalized it without ever realizing what she was normalizing. She had spent 2 years slowly adjusting herself to fit around his emotional unavailability. And it had happened so gradually that she had mistaken the adjustment for growth. She did not wake him up that night. She sat with what ChatGPT had shown her until the sun came up. And by morning, she knew what she had to do. Not because a machine had told her what to feel, but because seeing the pattern laid out in plain language had finally given her permission to trust what she had been feeling for a very long time. They talked that afternoon. It was calm, it was honest, it was over. Now, here's what makes this story important for you. Anyone can do what she did. Right now, tonight. ChatGPT is free. And while it is not a relationship therapist and it cannot tell you what decision to make, it can do something that is genuinely powerful. It can read patterns across hundreds of messages without the emotional bias that makes those patterns invisible to us when we are inside the relationship. You can open ChatGPT right now and paste in any conversation that has been confusing you. Type this prompt exactly. Analyze these messages for emotional patterns. Look for changes in warmth, engagement, questions, future language, and affection over time. Tell me what you notice. And then read what comes back with an open mind. Because here is what this story is really about. It is not about AI. It is not about reading someone's messages. It is about the fact that our feelings are not random. They are responses to real patterns, real data, real shifts in how the people around us choose to show up in the small, everyday moments of communication. We often dismiss what we feel because we cannot prove it, because love makes us want to give the benefit of the doubt, because the thought of being right about something this painful is sometimes harder than staying in the uncertainty. But the patterns do not lie. They accumulate quietly over weeks and months until the weight of them becomes something the body knows before the mind is ready to accept it. You do not need AI to validate your feelings, but sometimes seeing the pattern clearly laid out in front of you is what finally gives you permission to trust what you already knew. Have you ever had a moment where you felt something was wrong in a relationship long before you could explain why? Where your instincts were telling you something your heart was not ready to hear?
Tell me in the comments, because that feeling you dismissed might have been the most honest thing in the entire relationship. And if this story stayed with you, hit subscribe. Every week we go deeper into the hidden patterns behind love and human connection. The next video might be the one that finally explains something you have been carrying for a long time.